Hey guys, welcome back to the show, and every Minecrafter and his dog is currently building bases in the Nether. Now, what do you need in the Nether more than anything else? Water? Beds? No, of course not. You need security from other players. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to build a working security camera in the Nether. So, as you can see in my inventory, this is basically everything that we're going to need. You're also going to need to capture a Piglin, but that's not too bad. They do actually stop attacking you if you're wearing gold. They're supposed to stop attacking you if you're holding an ingot as well, but I don't find that always works. So yeah, trust that at your own will. I imagine it will probably work better in the full version, but up until now it's going to be just more or less trying to wear gold armor. So that's basically most of the design already done. All that we're going to do is I'm just going to chuck in some lights here just so that you can see what's occurring and how it occurs, and I might even just fill that in. Now what we'll do under here is we're actually just going to place in a little bit of a redstone powder just like that. Now the redstone powder isn't actually doing anything for this tutorial, it's just so that you guys know that basically it can actually go off and power other things like explosives or arrows, trident launchers, anything that you really want really, to cause utter mayhem and chaos to other players. Now, what do we need to do from here is basically just seal this in. So once you've gotten your Piglin, you want to basically trap him in this cage. If you leave this one open here, he'll be able to escape, so make sure that there's at least a block here. So say for instance we go off and trap our Piglin, and now he's all secure. You want to name him, of course. So how does this work? So basically, the Piglin is actually afraid of the fire over here. So he's going to stay back all the way on this side. So this is why we've got the 3-block gap for the pressure plate. Sometimes they do move around a little bit, so keep that in mind. But generally they'll stay most of the time back there. Now, if I switch over to survival mode, just making sure that I'm reasonably safe, it looks like I should be okay. So let's go game mode survival and hit that. So you can see that the Piglin's not doing anything so far. If I move into his line of sight, you should see in a moment, yes, those lights light up and I've been detected. So as soon as I move out of his line of sight, you'll see that he retreats back to this spot here. Sometimes he'll wander to this spot, or maybe even this one in front of him, but generally he'll stay back there all the time, and I can just stand in front of him, and the security lights turn on. So how far does this actually work? Well, if I stand here, which is a fair distance away so far, and I slowly creep forward, block by block, there we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 from the actual block right here. So plenty of distance. Also, if you want to add a little bit of added security to the whole function, you could actually get one that's actually got a crossbow, which is even more handy because he'll actually shoot straight through the flames, which the flames themselves which the arrow at that point will actually become charged with fire, which means that you also get burn damage. Plus the redstone contraption, so you could have anything along here. You could have lava, explosions, TNT. I did already mention TNT, didn't I? And that's pretty much it for this kind of a switch. Now, there is some customizations that you can make to it. So let me switch back into creative mode. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to use some of these lovely, nice crimson trapdoors. So if I decorate this a little bit here, this doesn't really do anything at all to it so far. But what if I put some on top of it, like, if I can actually reach it, on top of it, like this. Now, the side ones aren't too important. They're probably more cosmetic, but the one in front here is going to activate. So the one in front here is actually going to work as a little bit of a control system for it. So let's switch back to survival mode, and you'll see that it's turned on like we expect it to. But if I close that trapdoor here, it breaks our line of sight and it actually turns off the whole machine. And oh god, Okay, but you get the idea that basically you can use the trapdoors to basically control when it's basically turned off and when it's turned off. So when it's turned on and when it's turned off. So if, for instance, you had something like this in a base, you could basically have it down when you're away, flick it back up whenever you want the security system turned off so you can walk past it yourself, then you can flick it back down without a problem. Okay, so that system works really well as a player detection system, but what if you wanted to control where players had to move? Well, you can actually do that with the Hoglin. So what we can do is let's grab some of this, and we'll also grab some of the warp fungi. And what we'll do is we've got this big sort of platform that you can see here. Now, this is going to give us a little bit of a control system. So if I actually put a block down there, and what we'll do is we'll actually change the color of these glass blocks just so that we can pay a little bit of attention as to how this is going to work. So let's grab some colored glass, wherever it is. So we'll grab green and we'll also grab blue. So the block on top here is going to be perfectly safe. So 1, 2, 3 from that block is also going to be perfectly safe in every direction. So if we come around like this, obviously you can see how this all works, and it should work in a circular radius as well. So you should have nice amounts of safety in this sort of green area. Now, from here, you also have an extra block that sort of works sometimes. It's not always perfect, but it sometimes protects you. So we're going to call this our blue block. So generally you won't get attacked in this area, but sometimes you do. So it's kind of a bit of a 50-50 sort of chance. The odd occasion is that you're not safe inside the actual blue circle. So if I grab some hoglins at this point, so let's grab some hogs, and if I spawn a couple of them into this world, so we're just going to chuck a few of them in here. We'll even chuck them around where we are at the moment, and you'll see that in a few moments they start dispersing and they'll start spreading out to each corner trying to get away from things. Now if we go into game mode and survival, then you can see that they all try and target us, but we'll actually be safe inside this area. So that's a nice useful function. It means that if we jump back into game mode creative, and let's say for instance I wanted to guide a player over to this spot over here. So all I need to do is create a somewhat virtual path to actually guide them there. So let's bob down here and put in another one. So now we have another, what? Stop, stop coming down here, guys. Why? Okay, so you're stuck down there now. There's nothing I can do for you. Okay, so from here we have another 3 blocks, and another 3, and another 3, and of course another 3 from this side. And we can make our very similar sort of circular shape that we had before. So it will look a little bit like that. And of course we also have that blue shape that was around us as well. So let's add that in just so that you guys can see exactly what's going on. And you'll find that this actually creates a very simple way to force players into certain locations. Now, it doesn't work if the player doesn't understand the mechanic. So you may need to work it out sometimes, that you possibly leave some sort of a signpost telling them how it works or something like that. But you can see how it's going to work is that you can even create invisible mazes and things like that. Now, here's where it gets weird. I think that in the snapshot, it doesn't work quite perfectly, because as you lower it down, it seems to have a point where I believe it was about 4 to 5 blocks or something like that, where it suddenly went from having this exact same identical area to suddenly having nothing. So it doesn't seem like at the moment that you can shrink this, but if it gets updated at some point where this circle actually does have the ability to shrink it down a little bit just by lowering that block a bit more, then it means that you can even possibly control which block that it can stand on. So we could have a system where, say for instance, they can stand on this block, stand on that one, stand on that one. You could even create invisible mazes using this sort of an idea and things like that. So it's a really interesting sort of mechanic that exists in the game already and could exist a little bit better. So I hope you found this video interesting. I hope it was a little bit informative. I did actually have a few other farms planned for today, but obviously sometimes computers crash and everything burns, so there's not much you can do about that. So if you liked the video, drop a like, subscribe, leave comments or challenges for me. I always like challenges. Challenges are good fun. And I'll see you guys in the next one.